Commodities, gold, oil, silver, copper, all taking a well-deserved breather. We knew this was going to happen. So is it time to leave the commodity sector? Absolutely not. There's one commodity that's ready for a breakout to the upside. It is uranium. Look at this chart. I'm going to show you my two favorite uranium stocks right now that are ready to break out for the next swing trades to the upside. Let's talk about it now. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Okay, so before we get to uranium, let's start with the other commodities. Gold. Nothing happening, as you can see. Not new for you. I told you the consolidation is going to happen. It's happening. It's happening over time. That's positive, right? Also, this wave, this up wave, is still intact, as you can see with the green upturn. However, we barely made a new high at the end of last week, beginning of this week. We have not shown any power to reach the upper end of the sideways channel. That has to ring alarm bells. Now, again, this up move not finished yet, but if we break this uptrend without even reaching the upper end, that's a sign of weakness. That's a sign of weakness of gold. Either way you cut it, we do not have to be invested in gold. Look at the RSI down here, right? Look at this up move in the gold price. Look at the power in the RSI. Up move in gold, power in the RSI. Up move in gold, power in the RSI. And now look at this. Nothing. There's no dynamic here. No need for us to rush in. Let's wait for the gold price and especially the prices of the miners to come to us. Let's take a look at silver real quick. Looks much better, right? We have an upwards dynamic. We made a new high recently. We basically hit my resistance zone, the blue zone on top, around 40 to the penny. Now consolidating normal. I still think silver will outperform gold, but there's still the potential that we're going to close this gap around 37, 35-ish right here. So no need to hurry. We can wait, right? Copper consolidating, the incredible spike after the Trump tariffs, but really nothing. Oil, nothing. Let's look at some of the smaller metals real quick before we get to uranium. Last one, let's look at lead. Nothing. Platinum. Now platinum looks better, and we talked about this, right? That's one of the hot metals. As you can see, at least we recently made a new high. We're making higher lows. Now, as you can see, we're starting to kind of curve, which means that the upward momentum is slowing down. We can see it in the RSI down here as well. That is understandable. We know a correction is coming. Will it just be a correction over time? That's what I think. Or will it be a correction over price, which will push us all the way back down to the breakout area? I doubt that. But while all this looks like nothing is happening in the commodity sector, man, one of the hottest markets for swing trades is setting up for a major breakout. Uranium. Look at this chart of the URA, the ETF for the uranium miners. Look at this. It looks fantastic. We hit the uptrend that has been in place since April to the T, bounced off it, moved up, and now we're right at the last resistance zone before making a new all-time high, generating a major buy signal for the uranium stocks. And some of the smaller ones already broke out yesterday to the upside big time. Like my favorite UUU Energy Fuels, up 11% yesterday after confirming the breakout above the downtrend that has been in place since 2021. That's why the move up was so vicious. Now, I personally do not like to chase these type of moves. So at least give us a little bit of a pullback, probably in this area right here, right? And then I would start opening up positions. We have an open gap here. This could be filled at around 7. I can see that. But then we want to be in. This looks powerful. Now, Two stocks that look super interesting right now are fan favorite Uranium Energy Corp, UEC. Look at this. It is about to break out. This resistance zone right here, right? We recently developed this one. If we break these two zones, we're closing this gap right here. We're going to probably test with a strong uranium market this region right here, which gives us a 20% upside really easily. Super interesting. RSI starting to gain steam, starting to gain power, right? It's at 60. That's positive, right? That means there's buying power, momentum coming into this stock. And we're not overbought at all. The other one that I like even or better, Denison Mines. We talked about it before. I recommended this stock to you before. Same setup, but even a little better because we closed on a higher high. We closed on the highest high since February. Man, we break this resistance zone, this yellow resistance zone. We're closing this gap, the purple right here. And then we're off to the races. I mean, why do I say off to the races? Well, look at this. Just to get to the old highs of 2025, 248, I mean, that's 30%. That's a great swing trade. And that doesn't even include the possibility of reaching the upper end of the uptrend channel. So those are my two favorite uranium stocks right now that are setting up for major moves to the upside. We already saw, for example, with energy fuels, what power is happening with the uranium stocks when they break out. Now, let's talk reasons why uranium is holding up so well and why some of the uranium stocks are breaking out. And I want to reiterate, it is the US producers that are moving the most. Forget the uranium explorers. Let me show you Sky Harbor real quick, which is by far the most popular and, in my opinion, the best uranium explorer in the US. So they have the US thing, right? But they're early stage explorer. Look at this here. You just saw the charts, what all these uranium stocks did since the April lows. They all doubled. They all went up 150%. What has Sky Harbor done? Basically zero. It's basically done nothing. That's crazy with a powerful up move like we saw in uranium. And that shows you the parties and the producers, maybe late stage developers, but it's really the producers. Forget the explorers. What are the reasons for this developing breakout in uranium? Well, it is obviously the new pushback of Trump against Putin and Russia's war against Ukraine. Market is worried that the Russians might play the uranium card and maybe stop the uranium supply earlier than anticipated. Is that big time major news? No, it's not. It's just an assumption, a possibility. It's not even a fact. I mean, that Trump is sending weapons to Ukraine, that's a fact. That Trump gave that 50-day ultimatum, that's a fact. But anything that the market is basically connecting to the uranium sector, just speculation. How can that move the uranium market that much? And that's the interesting part, because that shows us how dramatic the supply situation is in the uranium market, where we have a major supply deficit, as you know. That even kind of a weak story that's not even directly connected to the uranium sector can push this sector higher and light a fire under it. That's really good for us as uranium bulls. That shows us, man, any type of news will just wait for it, make the stocks go nuclear. I know, that was a good pun. No, it wasn't, but that's all right. So that's really the interesting part. The interesting part is not the Trump announcement, because I do not believe that Putin will play this ace that he has up his sleeve. Why? Well, it's basically the last one he has left besides nuclear war. And we're not even talking nuclear war threats, because he has done those for the past 3 years. They didn't do anything. And Russia has even stopped doing it because they realized, well, it's useless. I think he wants to keep that ace in his back pocket for as long as he can. So therefore, I do not think that anything is going to happen with this. But it doesn't matter. The uranium stocks are still moving up. Why? Because the situation is that dire. And that is the interesting part. And that tells us we want to get in on any weakness in uranium stocks or buy the setups that I showed you today of UEC and Denison Mines. That's it for today. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.